Hey there everyone, so today I want to talk about something that's actually really incredibly important to me, and that's death positivity. Now, I came across this movement fairly recently, maybe only a couple of years ago or something like that, and as soon as I found this movement it really resonated with me. I love the message, and it kind of stands for something that I've always felt, but I never actually knew there was a movement kind of dedicated to it. So it was like an amazing thing for me when I actually found this movement. So basically in this video I want to talk about why I am death positive. Now, the structure of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm on the Order of the Good Death website, and on there are 8 kind of principles surrounding death positivity. So I'm just going to go through them all and chat a little bit about how I interpret that and what it means to me and whatever. And we are joined here today by my new friend. You might have seen him on my Instagram, but I'm absolutely obsessed. I got him on Etsy from Vicious Noodles, which is the best name ever. And yeah, he's going to be joining us on this journey, and also my copy of Empire of Death, which is just the most gorgeous book I've ever owned. And in my Inspiring Books series, I'm also going to be doing a flick through and just a bit of a talk about the Empire of Death. So if you want to see that, stay tuned. So number 1 is, I've got my laptop here, so I'm going to be reading off it. I believe that by hiding death and dying behind closed doors, we do more harm than good to our society. And I completely agree with this, because I think it leads so much to this fear of death that people have, and because it's such an unknown and it's such an alien concept, I think that adds so much to how scared people are of death. Don't think that anything positive can come through just trying to outrun death constantly. And I think if you come face to face with death, it just becomes a part of life, which it is. It is inevitable. It is inevitable that we are all going to die. And really, the sooner we come to terms with that, the better, in my opinion. Number 2 is, I believe that the culture of silence around death should be broken through discussion, gatherings, art, innovation and scholarship. And this is incredibly important to me, being a poet, so I write a lot about death within my poetry. I really think that by introducing people to death through art and media and scholarship, and just having open and frank discussions about it, we can break down these kind of ideas that we have in the Western world that really make death seem like this. It's kind of like the elephant in the room. It seems to me it's this massive thing that we all know about, we all know it's going to happen, but no one ever likes to talk about it. For me, becoming close to death, realising that we're going to die, and acknowledging that and seeing it and being close to it every day, in terms of things like this, like all my house decor, a lot of it is like skulls and death related things, and I think it really just reminds me of my own mortality and therefore brings me closer to life. I feel like because I know that that's what's going to happen, it's so freeing, and it's kind of a difficult thing to describe. It really does make me feel more alive, kind of having these reminders that one day I won't be. Number 3 kind of links on from what I've been saying. I believe that talking about and engaging with my inevitable death is not morbid, but displays a natural curiosity about the human condition. Yeah, so it's basically, there's not much more to say about that. I think that talking about death, yeah, it isn't morbid, it's just a fact of life, and the sooner that we confront these facts and acknowledge them, the sooner, it's just better for everyone really, isn't it? And then number 4, I believe that the dead body is not dangerous, and that everyone should be empowered, should they wish to be involved in care for their own dead. So I think that a lot of the reason that we are it's the mystery surrounding death that in the Western world makes us so terrified of it. That's what I believe. And I think that because when someone dies, most of the time you don't see them. You might go and visit them and have an open casket viewing or an open casket funeral, but most of the time you just hear that they're dead and you never see them again. You have a funeral, usually it's a closed casket, that's it, you never see them again. And it's like they have just disappeared off the face of the earth. Death is at the end of that person, and and that's it. Whereas in cultures where they routinely care for the dead, and even in some cultures they will exhume the dead every so often and clean them and then put them back. In some cultures they have their bodies of the dead around with them for years and, like, you know, care for them, bring them food, and that is a way of connecting with death, but also realising that when you die, you'll be treated with this respect, you'll still be a part of the family. It's that comfort in knowing that death isn't completely this big final cut-off that it is in the Western world. You know, you're still going to be part of things, you're still going to be integrated after you die. And I think, you know, it's good for the person that's going to become the corpse, but it's also good for the family because they get to spend more time with the one that they love, and that it's not this rushed, you know, right, that's it. You know, you have a bit of time to kind of, you know, acknowledge that this has happened, and you get a lot more closure, I think, if you do see this person in their dead state. So yeah, there's that. And then number 5 is, I believe that the laws that govern death, dying and end-of-life care should ensure that a person's wishes are honoured, regardless of sexual, gender, racial or religious identity. And I mean, obviously, I think that with this one it's kind of, it might be a slightly within reason. I mean, you know, obviously people might want really horrible things to be done with their body, you know, but that aside, I honestly think that it's your corpse and it's your choice. Anything that you want that is, you know, within the realms of possibility, that's not harming anybody, I honestly believe that laws shouldn't dictate what can happen with our own body. You know, if I want my corpse taxidermied and, you know, my family to keep it on display forever, that should be completely fine. You know, if I want to be chopped up in little bits and fed to, I don't know, my dog, that should be fine, because it's your body. And it's absolutely mad to me that, I don't want either of those things, by the way, but it's absolutely mad to me that anyone can govern what happens to your very body, your very flesh and blood after you die. It's just crazy to me. And then number 6 is, I believe that my death should be handled in a way that does not do great harm to the environment. And this is another really big one for me. So I am an environmentalist. I am, tree hugger, eco warrior all the way. And I honestly believe that when I die, I don't want to be embalmed, and I don't want to be cremated, because they are both very bad environmentally. It's just crazy. My body doesn't need to be preserved through such strong and environmentally damaging chemicals. I want the most natural kind of burial possible, with the least possible impact on the environment. But having said that, that's my opinion, and, you know, whatever anyone wants doing with their body, again, their choice. And then number 7 is, I believe that my family and friends should know my end-of-life wishes, and that I should have the necessary paperwork to back up these wishes. None of us know that when we're going to die, and if you've got a solid plan in place, it just makes the whole thing so much easier for your family. They're not going to be worried that they're doing something that you don't want. They're going through all the grieving process, and they don't want to have to, you know, be second guessing themselves and wondering if what they're doing is right, honestly. So I really think having an open discussion about what you want to happen to your body when you die, it just makes sense. It just saves your family so much hassle if it happens to you, and also for you, if a loved one dies, it saves you the hassle and the stress and extra mental burden of having to worry that you're not doing what they would have wanted. And then number 8, I believe that my open, honest advocacy around death can make a difference and can change culture. Definitely. And I think the more people that talk about this, the better, because honestly, death is, I'm not saying that it's not something to be scared of, because, you know, of course it is a big thing. It happens to us all, and it's completely normal to be scared of death. It's completely normal to grieve when loved ones die. It's not about saying death is brilliant, because it really isn't, but it's just acknowledging that it happens and working out the best way that we can deal with that in our lives and deal with it when we or other ones die. But yeah, I really do believe that talking about death, like I said, it has brought me closer to life. I felt so much calmer when I came to terms with the fact that I'm going to die. And I know that might sound strange and might sound morbid, and it's quite a difficult thing to talk about because people don't like to talk about it. But I really do honestly believe talking about death and knowing what we want and exploring, you know, like it says, you know, the human condition can do nothing but good, because it's something that's going to happen to us all. There is no point denying it, and we just need to make the best of it. And that's all there is. And also, I definitely think approaching things with humour really does help. I'm going to leave some links down below to various resources and things that I've kind of found very helpful. I'm quite new on my journey, so, you know, I will be making kind of updates and about different things to do with death positivity, etc. So if you're interested in it, then please do stay tuned and subscribe. So yeah, please do let me know in the comments what you think about death positivity, if you've heard of it, if you're part of it, if you think it's morbid and horrendous. Let me know. And I shall speak to you again very soon.